Good night. Good night. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Welcome again to another Wednesday night live with the Minding Our Business Financial Academy. I'm Lionel Allen. We do this every Wednesday night, right at 6 p.m. Eastern. We come to you live talking about stewardship, financial management, and hoping to engage with you another night tonight. It's January 21st. It's been an impressive and sort of unprecedented year, and just across the board in politics, in sports, in finance. The weather. Let's talk a little bit about the weather, the impending Armageddon type storm that we're bracing for here across the South and the East Coast. But we're trying to stay consistent and come to you with this information. So, welcome all of you who typically join us on a Wednesday night. Thank you. And we're just going to get right to it. So, tonight's topic is the money audit. What your spending says about your values. So tonight, we're going to take a look at what's been happening with our finances as we kick off 2026. And as always, we always start with a scripture reference. So tonight, we'll be looking at Matthew 6, verse 21. I'll be reading that from the New International Version. That scripture says, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." This is a powerful one. I actually did this in a devotion just a couple weeks ago. And this is a powerful scripture when you really begin to unpack it from a spiritual base. But when you apply the Bible as a book of wisdom and you look to manage your finances, which is what we do here at the Minding Our Business Financial Academy, then you realize that there is a translation for your financial life. And that's what I'm looking to share with you tonight. So your spending doesn't lie. It reveals what you truly value. So that's how we're going to interpret that scripture tonight and or apply that scripture to our finances this evening. And so as we look at what is happening in January, it's the time now, it's late in January. We're at the third week of the month, the third week of the year. That sounds early still, but if you look at just the month of January, we're sort of, this is the third quarter of this month. So something begins to happen right about this time in January. So your paychecks have been coming in. You've probably gotten one or two of those already for the year. Your bills are starting to stabilize. That chaos of December, holidays, travel, spending, gifting, promotions, sales ads all over the place bombarding you. That's slowing down a little bit. But now a pattern is starting to develop. And this is the moment when your money starts telling you the truth, and you need to listen to it. What do you intend to value? Not what you say you value, but what your daily spending and activity actually reflects. So tonight, it's not about a judgment. It's not about judgment at all. It's really about alignment. And that's a key word. That word is personal for me this year. That is my word for this year, is alignment. So what does your spending tell you about your alignment? So there's a problem being presented here. There's a gap between what you say and what you spend. And that call out is not meant to be an indictment. There's many things that's important to us. Family is important to us. Our faith is important to us. Many of us have made family commitments, faith-based faith-based commitments. Freedom is a goal for us ultimately, whether it's financial freedom, your actual freedom and liberties, but all these things actually cost. And maybe you want peace. Maybe that's just it. That may be your goal, is to have some sort of peace and consistency and something within your life that brings you stability and security. But then it beckons a question. If you only look at your bank statement, would you come to the same conclusion of your priorities? Do all these things actually matter to you? So, what we'll begin to realize, as you see in this graphic, there is that gap between what we say and what we spend. And then, if we actually begin to look at our bank statement, we'll notice some things, right? There are gaps, there's leaks that are happening every day with our finances. Small purchases add up. And then some of us, our lifestyle or convenience of lifestyle is actually impacting our financial well being. So we have to look at how our habits are essentially overriding our values and our priorities. And so that's what we're going to look at this evening. We're going to take a look at how do these things actually reflect. So your bank statement is not a moral document, but it is a mirror of your behaviors and your activities, right? So in that scripture we read, Jesus didn't say that your heart follows your words. He says your heart follows where your treasure is. So tonight, we're not creating budgets yet. We're doing something much more important. We're really looking at where it's an audit, for lack of a better term. It's a money audit. So many of you may be preparing for tax season. So you've been auditing your spending and your income and all those things from last year as you prepare for that Sentinel event. And what I'm trying to get you to do is perform that audit now as you plan this year and begin to correct activities and behaviors and align them with your priorities and your goals. So, how will we get there? What is the solution here? So, I call it the value to dollars framework. So, there's a value to dollars alignment framework. So, that's essentially it's a planning phase of this work that we're doing, where we're looking at where our dollars are going, where our value, our intrinsic value lies, and making sure there's alignment between those two things. So, as I take a peek at my notes here, this money audit is really designed to help you see where your values and your dollars are not aligned, right? So, first step, in order to conduct an audit, we're going to need to look at our statements first, right? So, part of the activity is I want you to pull the last 30 days of your statement. And this is not done to shame you or anything like that. This is really just so you can begin to understand yourself, begin to understand those behaviors that you have, and track and trend those things, right? So, what are you looking for as you look at the last 30 days of expenditure? Really should be asking yourself these three questions that you see on screen. Where did your money go automatically? So, do you have automations? I know AI is a big term. It will be an even bigger term in 2026 as many of these larger companies roll out robotics, humanoid robotics, integration of physical hardware and AI to take over tasks. We have to look at that actually applies to us as well. That's involved in your life, that's involved in your budget today. So, do you have automations currently in your budget? That's the first question. Where did your money go impulsively? It's another question you might want to ask yourself. And then where did your money go with intentionality? So those are the three things. Do you have automations? So are you leveraging technology in order to maintain and automate certain aspects of your budget? Where was the impulsivity in your budget? And then where was the intentionality within your budget? So that's a core part of this audit that we need to complete. So, and really, you're doing this by yourself. So you can't really lie to yourself about this. You can't create excuses around what you see in those bank statements. But really, this is just an honest audit. And the reason why you're doing this is because awareness precedes alignment. You can't align things if you're not aware with what is happening, where the misalignment is, or where there isn't congruency, right, between intentions, values, priorities, and then activities and behaviors. Those things you have to identify where there isn't consistency. All right. So once you've gotten to 30 days, you've asked yourself those 30 days of statements, you've asked yourself those 3 questions while reviewing your statements. Now you're going to identify, like I just said, where the misalignment is. And again, a couple questions here to help you with that. Does my spending reflect my stated priorities? So if you are a person, a big goal setter, and you got your 2026 goals down, whether it was to be buy a house, get a better apartment, move to a better neighborhood, uh, maybe you're looking at changing positions, you're seeking higher income, uh, maybe you need things like getting a car or different necessities throughout wherever your life is, wherever your management is happening with your finances. That's where you want to make sure those things that you wrote down and you want to get accomplished this year, you want to make sure your behaviors and your financial habits and systems align with those things. Where am I funding convenience? So that's a huge thing in the 21st century. Grubhub, Uber Eats, subscriptions, everything is to your door, pre-packaged meals, pre-made this, pre-made that. Convenience costs, right? So you need to look at, where are you making a decision about convenience instead of actually focusing on your priorities, because that will eat up a huge part of your budget. Where am I overfunding comfort versus the things that I think I'm called to do and the things I'm called to support? Comfort is another thing that's huge in our society, right? And it's tied again back to these subscriptions, what we see on social media. A lot of these things are lifestyle, uh, uh, the image of luxury. They're comfort based, they're convenience based, and everything is just a click of a button away, right? So you have to look at the cost of that convenience. Is that aligned with your priorities and your plans for yourself and your financial well-being? So we have to take a look at those things. All right. So misalignment is not a failure. It's just feedback. So again, I want you to try to stay as uh, emotionally disengaged in this audit as possible. I want you to think of this as a third party coming in and just looking at it. Although you have the information of the backstory to how those dollars were spent, or what activity led to that expenditure, you want to disconnect the emotion of that and really just look at the common sense of it, or the logical sense of it, right? What was this? Was this needed? Was it not needed? Was this a convenient purchase? Was it an intentional planned purchase? You're simply just going through that checks and balances system. So if you're a faith-based person, your faith and your spiritual well-being matters. And if you made goals and set intentions for those things, you want to make sure you're aligned. If your family matters to you and you've made certain plans and goals about how you want to improve your family's lifestyle, you need to make sure that these expenses align with those visions and goals, right? If you're a person who may be looking at retirement, and freedom then is this thing now for you, you're stepping away from your working years, you want to make sure your spending is in alignment with those goals, right? So all these things are really about looking at what our goals are, looking at what our intentions are, and then making sure our expenditure is in line with it. Here's the third step to this problem. You got to name what the leaks are. You have to identify them. By not identifying them and justifying them, that's where we set ourselves up to repeat the same poor behaviors. So, are there subscriptions that you're seeing now in those statements? Maybe you forgot about it. Maybe it's something you're not using. Maybe you signed up for that dreaded trial period and you forgot to go back in and cancel it. You should be identifying those things right now, recording them, and creating a plan to mitigate them. Were you dining out in place of planning, right? That's a big thing during the holiday season. We're busy, we're out shopping, we're doing this, we're doing that. And then our dining out budget creeps up just based on convenience again, lack of planning. Maybe it's that I deserve it, right? I love that excuse. I work hard and I deserve it. Those are the two things we say in order to misappropriate some funds, right? Or to justify the behavior that we know is counterintuitive or counterproductive to our goals, right? So if you had one of those Decembers where you were doing everything for everyone else, and now that's the justification for why you're not managing your own situation now, or you're electing now to spend additional funds on things out of convenience or want for yourself because you feel like you've done so much for other people last month. That sort of it's sort of like the reflex of spending a lot of money on other people. You feel like, okay, now I got to compensate myself for what I just did for other people. So just you're looking at those behaviors, you're trying to identify them, and then also looking at what just happened emotionally, right? What just happened because I felt like I deserved this, or it was the first paycheck of the year, and you're like, oh, I can make this up in March. There's that dreaded thing we tell ourselves, yeah, I got a tax return coming, so I'll make up for whatever I'm doing right now, in 2 months or 3 months or whatever it is. So it's just, again, being very careful, being self-aware, and identifying where these leaks are, actually putting a name on them, and then creating a mitigation plan. So leaks don't really mean that you're irresponsible. They mean that you're human, but you're human without a system. So you're not leveraging a system in order to stay on track and stay on course towards your goals. All right, the fourth step is to redirect your money with intentionality. So you want to move your money. Again, for me, giving is the number one thing. If you're a faith-based person, it starts there. There's all these studies about giving and gratitude. It changes your posture, changes your heart posture, and it also just kind of it's one of those mysteries, I guess, where you can talk about. Is actually I read it in Proverbs 21 today. That the posture of giving never leads to poverty. So it's just very interesting. It's one of the principles, just like gravity, that the Creator has implemented into this realm, and it's just the number one posture. It's the number one place we want to start as stewards is with giving. So you want to practically figure out how you can maybe redirect some of the spending you've been doing, either emotionally or out of convenience, and redirect that to someone who is less fortunate than yourselves, or ministries, or charities that are meaningful to you. Then you want to really fund experiences and not things. That's always a big one for me. I would rather, go to the Caribbean and lay on a beach than have the latest pair of Jordans 6 times a year. That's just me. But some people are more interested in fashion or more interested in that one hot button item. But for me, it's about experiential. And I think that those are really the lasting things, right? Your memories, the experiences you've had. I'm not saying to overfund experiences such as vacations and things that you may not be able to afford, but again, look for areas of having experience over just collecting things. Increase your savings with intentionality. So begin to fix your budget in a way where you can prioritize giving, you can prioritize your saving, and you're not in this sequence of emotionally buying things that you don't necessarily need. And then, like I mentioned from the onset, then you want to begin to align these categories with your values, your core values. You want to make sure they're aligned with your budgeting categories. So, those are the big steps in this audit process. And you got to remember, alignment requires it requires intentionality. It doesn't require a raise. It doesn't require more money. Because usually, what I tell people all the time, money doesn't solve money problems. If you have money problems, that's a management issue. It's not a money issue, right? So you have to remember that. So you got to start wrapping your mind around budget is not a restrictive thing. It's actually freedom disguised as priorities. That's really what a budget is. It is not a restriction. It gives you the freedom to do certain things based on your priority structure, right? So in review, first, look at your statements for the last 30 days, whether it's your statement or you just want to go into your spending, or you can just look at the last 21 days, the last 3 weeks. You want to begin to look at where you're misaligned, what is out of place based on your goals that you've set for yourself and what you're actually doing as far as your actions and behaviors. You want to actually identify and name those things that are leaking funds right now, whether it's subscriptions, it's dining out, it's retail purchases, whatever those things are. You want to actually put a name to them, and then you want to just look at those and see if those are aligned with your priorities, right? And then redirect. If they're not aligned with your priorities, you want to redirect that capital back in alignment with your core values, your goals, and your intentions for 2026 and beyond. So your money already knows what matters most. The question is whether you're ready to align it with that, right? So it's really about us as the managers and the stewards of the capital. It's not about the capital itself. Remember, more money won't solve money problems. Your management skills are what solve your money problems. So again, thanks for joining us. Go ahead and comment a line either in the replay of this or live in this video. We can help you out by actually producing a worksheet that you can use to get through this process, through those 4 steps. We love to serve you in any way that we can. And again, every Wednesday night, 6 p.m., we come to you live with a message like this. We'll usually repost it on YouTube. I was on a call today and someone said, "Hey, are you just on Instagram?" No, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. Working on the TikTok thing. So I also post on LinkedIn. So we try to get the message out to as many places as possible. So if you want help doing this, if you want help being more consistent with your financial journey, with your financial management, then the MOB Academy is the place for you. We'll be looking to serve you there. So a lot of new news coming out. We're launching a free community with some of the foundational materials you need to be a good money manager. We'll be putting out some marketing material around that probably within about the next 2 weeks. And we'll be serving you there. If you would like a little more attention, a little more one-on-one, of course, we also have a paid community available to you, gives you more access to myself, the team, and the tools, and we will serve you the best way we can in helping you to be the financial steward that we know God has called you to be. So with that, we say good night. We appreciate all of you taking 25 minutes out of your Wednesday evening to join us, and continue to follow us on all those social media channels for more information, more templates, more stewardship, guidance and advice. And remember, when your money uh, and your mission align, that's where peace follows. Then clarity follows that, and your stewardship then becomes a lifestyle. So, with that, good night. Take care. See you soon. Thanks for joining us at the MOB Academy. Now stop scrolling and go mind your business.